Today at 6 PM BST time, that's 1 PM Eastern, I will be live streaming the new agent and also competing in a tournament at 7 PM. So if you'd like to see the new agent or me compete in a tournament, come and check me out at twitch.tv/FlowAscending. Hope to see you guys there. Alright, so we've now jumped into Agent Select. I'm not sure what map this is on, but I'm sure you guys will let me know down in the comments below. So let's go ahead and select KO. You can see he's right there. Brand new animation. Looks super cool, super clean, so he has a little loading screen as well. And then he comes in, and I'm sure that's a Terminator reference, but again, if I've got it wrong, whatever. Alright, let's go into the game and have a look at his abilities. Alright, so we've loaded into Breeze. The first thing that you will notice is that I'm holding the new Vandal. This is part of the K-Tac collection, so let's quickly inspect that. It looks super clean. I really like the gem outline on the magazine there. And it doesn't have any VFX, so it doesn't sound any different. But we've also got the katana as well. It doesn't look as cool in game as I thought it would, but it still looks super sick. So for a battle pass skin, I will definitely want this. So definitely get your battle pass up to level 50 for this one, guys. Okay, so this is the moment that you've been waiting for. Let's do a showcase of his abilities so that you're not confused once you actually get into game to play the new agent KO. So his first ability is his C, which is also his frag grenade. It bounces off of objects. It produces a circle around the center, and basically the way that it works, it does 4 pulses, and the closer that the enemy is to the center of the circle, the more damage that it will do. So if we stand in the center, we can right click it. You can see it does a lot of damage, and on the outside, it doesn't do as much damage. So keep that in mind when you're clearing angles. You can just throw it, but make sure that you are getting the center of the nade as close to the enemy as possible for maximum damage. So KO is an initiator, that's why he does have a flashbang as well. His flashbang is amazing. So with his left click, it pops within 1.6 seconds. With his right click, the flashbang will pop within 1 second. So there's a 0.6 second difference depending on the left click or the right click that you will use. So if we start with his left click, we can see you can throw it over objects. It travels quite a bit of distance. So let's just see what it looks like when it actually pops. It's not too blinding compared to some of the other flashes, but obviously it lasts a couple of seconds, so that's very good. And his right click is very short distance right click. As well, it will blind them for just as long, so that doesn't change. The great thing that you can do though with this agent is you can actually right click, place your flash behind you, and then run ahead. It will only flash you a tiny bit, but the enemy will be flashed for a couple of seconds. So that's definitely one way that you can peek corners now. You can just flash yourself out like this and quickly peek. So it's almost like a pop flash because it's a 1 second delay on after you throw it. You can throw it from a bit of a distance and pop flash your way out. So it's more like a CSGO flashbang than it is anything else that's currently in Valorant. The closest thing would be Phoenix's flash. But again, it's just a lot easier to use and it does definitely remind me of CSGO. So I will be loving this agent because I've got so many hours in CS and I'm very aggressive when I push. So I'm definitely going to make this my second agent for sure. Before we move on to the next ability, I just want to quickly mention as well that it doesn't matter how far away you are from the flashbang, it will always flash the enemy team as long as they are looking at it. So if we throw it a distance away, you can see it still flashes you. It doesn't matter how far away you are. As long as you're within line of sight, it will flash the enemy. So do keep that in mind when using these flashbangs. And before I move on to the E as well, I want to mention that the frag grenade, the C ability, does have the same trajectory as a Viper smoke grenade. So do keep that in mind. You can use the same lineups that you would use for Viper smoke grenades, not the mollies, the smoke grenades. So you can just transfer those onto KO. And you can still use the same lineups that you would use before. So we can do a quick demonstration of that before we move on. I'm not using a direct lineup or anything. I'm just showing you its trajectory. So you can throw it from mid and make it land here. So again, you can use KO for post-plant situations. So it's another post-plant agent if you want it to be. We're going to see a lot more metas coming in with these post-plants. However, his E does actually counter the enemy's post-plants, and I'll show you that right now. Moving on to his E ability, we're going to have to talk about this one in depth a little bit because there are various different ways that you can use this ability. So the first thing that you'll want to note about his E ability, his blade, is that it actually sticks to the first object that it encounters along its trajectory. So if we throw it at something, it will actually stick towards it rather than bouncing off of it like his frag grenade. So this blade is called the Suppression blade. Suppression actually means that it disables other agents' abilities for 6 seconds, and it produces a massive radius around where it's thrown. So I can show you an aerial view. So you can see how much distance it actually covers. So it's a huge amount of distance. So it's very good for post-plant or retake situations. So you can go into sight with your team, throw your blade out, and now you can see it covers all of sight there, back sight. And you can actually push, and the enemy won't have abilities, but they can still shoot and move the same way as they used to before. So just keep in mind that they can still kill you. It's not like Killjoy's ult where you're fully disabled and can't move. It's just that their abilities are not within use for 6 seconds. So like I said, this ability can be used for engaging into sight. So for example, if we're pushing a cave on Breeze, we can throw it back sight. It will suppress the whole site pretty much, and then you can push in without having to worry about the enemies using counter abilities on you for 6 seconds. However, you can actually use it as well to retake a site. And I'm sure there will be many lineups for this as well, but let's just do a random one from here quickly. So you don't have to worry too much about having crazy lineups because the radius is so massive on this ability. So you can see it landed here and it covered all of this part of sight and even slightly towards cave here. So what you can do is you can throw it over onto A or B site. On Ascent or Breeze, this will work really well because it's such an open area. So it will land into sight and be able to hit the enemy even if you're not too accurate with your blade. And before moving on to the ultimate, it's also important to mention that the blade can in fact stop Killjoy turrets and post-plant situations. So we've all been cheesed by the Viper or the Killjoy mollies after post-plant, and now you can actually counter that for the first time properly. So what you can do is you can throw your E, and as long as the enemy team is within the radius of your E ability, they will actually get hit by it. And that means they cannot use their mollies for 6 seconds. So you have 6 seconds to defuse the spike without having to worry about any nades coming your way and getting you off of the spike. It's also super important to note that with the E ability, the Suppression blade, it can actually stop pushes with ultimates. For example, Raze's rocket. If you hear a Raze satchel in using their rocket ultimate, you can actually throw out your Suppression blade, and as soon as it pops off, the rocket will be put away and the Raze will just fall to the ground without being able to use their ultimate, and then you can get the pick easily because a lot of the time these Razes will fly in with confidence knowing that they can fire it, and they will just land in a random place. So as long as you use your E, you can take cover, and when they land you can peek them and get one tap, easy peasy. So this ability is super good for post-plant situations, retakes, and in fact stopping an aggressive push from the enemy team if you know where they're going to go and you can time it correctly. This is going to be a massive game changer on Valorant. It's definitely going to change the meta up. You're no longer going to have the cheesy lineups constantly. So this agent is going to play a super major role in the whole meta of Valorant. Lastly, moving on to the ultimate, this is what we saw in the trailer when he was pushing out of A halls. He would use his ultimate here. What happens with the ultimate is that the agent ends up getting combat stim. So just like Brimstone's combat stim, he can shoot faster. You're also able to get rezzed if you die, which means you can run into sight without having to be worried because you can get rezzed by any teammate. And on top of all of that as well, he does have the pulsating suppression. So just like his E ability, once you pop his ultimate, he will have a pulsating suppression, which means if the enemy team is within the radius of his pulse, it will actually disable their abilities for 6 seconds once again. So let's quickly test that out and just see how it all works together. So we can see if we use the ultimate right now. You saw the purple circle going around. There we go, that's his pulse. There's the combat stim. And if you were to die, you can get res from where you started the ultimate as well. So say if you push into sight, you're trying to get picks and then you get downed, you can actually get picked up just like it's a battle royale game. So this is going to be super overpowered. There's a lot that goes on within one ultimate, and I cannot wait to see how this is actually going to be played within proper matches. If you guys want to see more, make sure to come to my stream tonight. It's going to be super fun playing in an actual tournament with KO. So it's going to be a great experience. Alright, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. It's just a quick little explanation of KO. I will be using him tonight, so 6 PM BST time, that's 1 PM Eastern. Make sure to come to my stream. We can play KO together. And at 7 PM BST, so that's 2 PM Eastern, I will be playing in a tournament as well with KO. So that's going to be very exciting. It is for a prize pool, so I'm really going to be sweating in the tournament. So make sure to come. It's going to be really fun. And I hope to see you guys there. And I'll see you guys in the next video.